Duck Hollow. Today I'm hoping that my sound works appropriately because my last video was really rough. So sorry about that. I have been really busy all day running errands, grocery shopping, and trying to pack these boxes. I think, let me see, how many do I have done? I've got 6 done. I'm waiting for something from Yvette, and then hers will be done. And I'm working on somebody else's. They're just, wow. Because I start perseverating on like, oh, am I making good choices? Is this something that the person would like? But I'm just like, I think you'll like it. And if you don't, I'm sorry. Next time, be more specific with what you want. Anyways, I'm getting off track. This is meant to be a VR. I didn't, I wanted to do the Vlogmas that Yvette and Dawn, so far, those are the ones I've watched, that they have been doing, but really, I have to go back a couple days anyway, and when I talk about my land, I think I'd like to walk out in my property with you guys when I do that. So I'm going to hold off on that, and I'm going to do one that I've been meaning to do. It's a VR to Redwood Rain, and it's Behind My Magic. It's 25 questions, and so I'll do that tonight. And tomorrow I'll be going through all the comments actually no, Thursday morning I'll be going through all the comments for the 800 subscriber giveaway and then selecting winners and contacting them. So stay tuned. Oh, one last thing. Oh, yes, pine cones. So if you ask for a pine cone and you're one of the winners, I'm trying my best to give you a large one, but I don't have any very large ones. So they're larger than any other pine cone I think you probably would see, except for those long skinny tube ones. But they're not the largest, and partly because I just don't have I don't have any boxes that'll fit it. So I'll be keeping an eye out for boxes like that. Send me a DM on either, send it to my email, send it to my Instagram, send it to my Facebook, a private message. If you're interested in having one, I can put you on a waiting list, and as I get boxes in, I can mail those out. It's not a seasonal thing. I have them all year long. So just let me know if you're interested. Anyways, here we go. Behind My Magic. I'm going to be looking this way because that's where the questions are. Okay, number 1. Are you a pagan, witch, Wiccan, or other? I am an eclectic witch. An eclectic pagan. Not an eclectic witch. Number 2. Do you have a patron god or goddess? So for me, I don't know. Old habits die hard. So my favorite face of God is still Jesus. And my favorite face of goddess is still Mary. Although the moon is really, really close. Yeah. And the sun for God. So I don't really have a patron anything. If I'm going to pray, almost 90% of the time it's to the Virgin Mary. My go-to prayer is the Hail Mary. It's just really, really comforting. I know she hears it. So, number 3, what is your favorite tool of divination? My favorite tool of divination is probably oracle decks. I would say I have only one tarot, so yeah, tarot's in there. But oracle decks are my favorite divination tool. I got a bone throwing kit, and I asked for a book for Christmas, and I'm hoping to get to know that and start working with my little bones soon. But I haven't started working there. I don't really do scrying, but I'm meaning to, or pendulum work. I really, really love astrology, but I don't. So divination's hard for me because I'm almost never I'm always looking for clarity, I guess I would say, for more information. But I feel like your subconscious always knows. You're just bringing it to the light with divination. So probably cards. If you're counting astrology, no, it's a tool. So cards, oracle cards. Um, Number 4. Do you or have you ever had a familiar? No, I haven't. I haven't connected with. I love animals. I have tons of animals, and I have loved animals deeply, but I've never connected with them in that way. Number 5. Do you believe in reincarnation? Yes. Mm-hmm. I do. Number 6. Do you have a witch's name? If so, what is it? Not really. I'm Brandy, but if I mean, I sometimes call myself the Witch of Hound Dog Hollow. That's how that's how I write in my BOS. This this book belongs to my name, and then the Witch of Hound Dog Hollow. Um, Number 7. What element do you work most with? This one's a toss up between. I don't know. I'm almost always burning candles, so fire. I have a strong preference for ritual bathing, so water, and I have incense almost constantly, so air. And I don't really. I mean, I consider grounding to be earth, having my feet in soil, um, and but I think the thing that I do every day without fail is light a candle. So fire. Number 8. What got you interested in witchcraft? I don't know. When I was a kid, I knew. Oh, one of my teachers read tarot decks. She had a tarot deck, and she would read cards for us sometimes. And she had an animal oracle too. And she would read that for us sometimes too. And she would tell us stories about growing up in New Orleans. And that that resonated deeply with me. Plus, when I was a kid, there was all these movies like The Craft and other things like that where it was very glamorous. So I wanted to learn more about it. I had a friend who talked to me more about it, but then the more I learned about it, because I was in the broom closet, I couldn't have these things. It was completely unacceptable. So I wasn't able to express it. I was able to learn. I read about in the library a lot. And so that's what I did. I learned about mythology. I learned about gods and goddesses and myth and worship and astrology and astronomy and different forms of divination and superstition and things that were more acceptable. And it all felt like coming home. So my soul recognized light before I did, subconsciously. So, or consciously, before I consciously recognized it. So yeah, that's my earliest memories. I've always been a prophetic dreamer though, always, and sensitive and an empath. So I mean, it just gave me a venue for those energies that I already had. Um, Number 9. Have you ever used a Ouija board? No. Funny story. I bought a Ouija board when I was finally on my own. I bought a Ouija board in the car. It's in the front seat. Windows are down. Albuquerque, New Mexico. I'm driving home. And I kid you not, this fucking thing flies right out the window. Gone. And I was like, guess I'm not meant to have one. And I've never touched one since. Number 10. Would you teach witchcraft to your children? Yes. All the time, every day. But I personally believe my main thing is small magics, which if you've ever heard snippets of my son, he totally gets it. And I think children totally understand that truth before we crush it out of them. So, yes, of course, obviously. Number 11, do you or have you had a mentor or teacher? No. I guess I've had people that I've looked up to, but I've been really solitary the whole time. This is really the first time in my life that I've had other witches to bounce off ideas off of and to watch their content and their VRs and their goings and thoughts, and so it's my first time with a community, and so it's been very nice. I wouldn't say mentor, I would say friend that I look up to. Um, because I don't know, I'm not learning any specific path. I'm eclectic, and I haven't dove, or I don't even know what the tense is for that. I haven't gone into anything in any depth that would require a mentor's guidance. If one was available, I would love one for like bone throwing or heavy ancestral work, um, things like that. But there's not. So, and I think that's something I would like to do in person, which of course I don't have that. So, I mean, and now that I read the question again, have you ever had a mentor or teacher? It might not be necessarily the craft, in which case I would think Stella Jane, who's an older lady, lived out in the country, and she taught me and my husband how to process animals and use all the parts, and she taught us a lot about growing, nurturing things, and feeding things, and animal husbandry, and it was really good. So there's that. 12. How do you reconnect when you feel out of touch with your practice? I get back to my journal and I write in it, my book of shadows, and I write in it. And I take a ritual bath. I light some candles. I light some incense. I read something spiritual. But for the most part, if I could just open my book of shadows and say, hello, the sun is here, the moon is here, this is where the planets are, this was my dreams today. And then it just flows. It just steps right back into place with me. Yes, I write it in my book of shadows. Number 14. What is something witchy you want currently? I want all the things. Y'all know that. I have a whole bunch. Couple decks in my. Um, I have a couple decks in my Amazon wish list, and a whole bunch of books. Lots of books. I love books. Knowledge, knowledge, knowledge. There's nothing. I mean, there's nothing that I'm wanting that I don't have or have plans to get, or I'm lucky that way. Um, I mean, someday I really would love to have one of those giant amethysts, the big giant ones that you could just hug. But that's a ways away. Important. No, 15. Do you think it is important to know the history of paganism, witchcraft? Yes and no. I think it's always important to know what you're taking from, um, what your where your information comes from. So that's history wise. I think that references are important. I think that knowing what cultures, indigenous peoples, and other theories that common knowledge in witchcraft is based off of will help you know if that's good information, if it's appropriate for you to use that information, if the information is for you. So yes, I think that it's important to know history, before you practice, before you make something your own. Witchcraft has improved your life. Yes. I guess I could elaborate on that in that it feels like a more true way for me to connect spiritually, um, and manifest and live intentionally. In fantasy creatures, yeah, I'm sure they're out there. I mean, there's a million things that we don't know, especially the things that we don't know that we don't know. And so I think there's always a chance that there are mythical creatures. I think that probably the truer thing is that there were and we destroyed them, or they're hiding from us. Um, but yes. 18. Have you created your path? How is it unique? How have you created your path? How is it unique? I think number one, I think every person's spiritual path is unique because you're unique. And the way that you see divine and understand divine and relate to divine is unique to you. There's nobody who will ever do it exactly the way you do, and ouch, I cut myself with my hair, and you will never do it the exact same way as somebody else. So yes, I believe that my practice is unique. I'm an eclectic witch. I was raised a certain way. I'm a certain culture. I mean, I'm just me. That's it. I'm me. I was raised this way. I was born at this specific time, and so my natal chart is what it is. I have a certain way of looking at things, and so the way that I relate to divine and the way that I think spiritually is going to be different than anybody else's because I'm not like anybody else, and neither are you. Where was the most magical place you've ever been? I have traveled extensively, and I'm still not done. But I would say the Bio Bay in Puerto Rico was pretty freaking enchanting, like a fairy tale. It was so beautiful. But also sitting under the northern lights was also enchanting. Perfect, beautiful. Laying on a bridge in the middle of the forest, watching the Milky Way cross the sky and a meteor shower. Pure, wonderful delight. Those are all magical places that I've been to. Experiences, I guess. What is your favorite color and why? Black. I love like it, and I like gold. I like teals and some blues, but probably black is my favorite color. Do you wear pagan jewelry in public? Mm-mm. No. Um. I mean, well, I guess I wore my Belemite um pendant everywhere on my whole trip and for the last month. Um, and that has a rune on it. And I used to wear a pentagram or a pentacle on my hip all the time. Um, I mean, I don't wear very much jewelry anyway, and I don't have very many clothes. I don't have any clothes with any pagan symbols on it. So, I mean, I think it's just that I don't wear jewelry. I might, not at work though. Um, that's too personal, I think, for work. But I might. I just don't yet. What is your favorite 22? What is your favorite thing about being a witch? I think that I've talked about this before, but I just want to reiterate very briefly that I feel like it gives me the opportunity to be present in my life, to honor the seasons, to honor the moon and the sun and my life going by, and to really ground me in a moment so I can appreciate what is happening. And also it gives me a tool to manifest reality in the way that is acceptable and pleasing to me. So, and finally, it gives me a way to connect and understand divinity, life, nature, and I'm grateful for that. So it's kind of a long video. I am hoping to get some boxes soon, and also I have everything lined up at some point to do a little. I want it to be my first live, but it would be a haul of the things that I got from China, and I mean answering any questions that you guys have. But I will see if I can figure out how to do a live, and if I can get my kid somewhere where he would be quiet during a live. So we'll see. Anyways, I love you guys so much. If you haven't already, head over to my 800 subscriber giveaway. If you're waiting for a package from me, it's coming. I promise. I'm just slow. If I'm going to be doing the Vlogmas, I just have to wait until a day where I'm outside in the daytime, which I'm fixing to start my work week. So I probably won't be this week, but hopefully in the weekend. And I have a long list of VRs. I want to get to Just Wondering by I Love My Danes, and a whole bunch by Dee, and a couple by Yvette. So I've got them on my list. I just haven't made it to them. So love you guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Bye.